Let's look at tonight's cards. The first card, I'm actually going to show you how to create this three-dimensional tulip. Now, if you are part of my hostess clubs, this is the card that we made last week, okay? So this is the March Hostess Club card right here, okay? So here it is, and I'll show you how to create it. And then I'm going to show you how to stamp those beautiful poppies. All right, so hopefully you like this card as well. So these are the two cards that we're going to be working on this evening. Now, let's grab our mini and let's look at where we can find it in the book. It is pages 14, 15. See this? This is a mega suite because it's got two bundles in it. We got the stamp set here. This is the stamp set we're going to work with tonight. And then we've got the Tulip Field stamp set as well, which is a bundle. So whenever there are two stamp sets and two die sets, I call it a mega suite because that is a lot. Just a lot of product, okay? And we get to work with this gorgeous paper tonight, all right? So on page 16, this is the actual stamp set that we're gonna work with tonight, all right? And it looks like this. This is the actual set. And then the die pieces are inside right here, okay? So now I want to show you what those dies can do, okay? Because right now, they're just kind of laying there on the magnetic sheet. So these are our tulip dies, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I changed my camera angle a little bit, and now my camera, my phone is a little tilted, and I don't like it. So just bear with me tonight. It's not exactly the way I want it, so... I know, Zaina, I love them too, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. So these are the tulip dies. Love this die right here that puts the holes in your cardstock. It's really cool. And then you get 3 stamped flowers. We'll talk more about these. And then you're going to notice how to build the tulip. So here's the finished tulip right here, and it takes this piece and one of these buds to create this piece, okay? Now, the tulip that we're going to make tonight includes one in petal pink and the calypso coral, then this poppy piece, and then this is the actual tulip that we will build, and you'll see how dimensional it is. Thank you, Arlene. Thank you for the compliment. Here's another tulip. I used a white bud, a petal pink middle piece. Then there's this piece, and it creates this tulip right here. All right. So tonight, we're going to create this tulip. And here are the poppies at the bottom. Love this border. And then we get 2 stems, and we get 2 of these petals, okay, or stems. All right, and then there's a grass piece that you can stamp and then cut out. All right, so I'm going to share how to create the other 2 tulips next Tuesday for my Be Creative Tip Tuesday at 2 o'clock, okay? So that will be forthcoming, but tonight we will create this one together, all right? Carol, I'm so glad that you like the card. Now, ladies, just in case you missed yesterday was my Be Creative Tip Tuesday, and I shared this chart, all right? And you can actually go to my blog, and you can download the chart and print it, and then you can actually practice stamping with the tulips. Now, if you decide to print this at home, print it on basic white cardstock. Print it on the Stampin' Up! Basic white cardstock, okay? To get your best stamping results, okay? So yesterday for Be Creative Tip Tuesday, and you'll find that video right here on my Facebook page, we learned how to stamp with different inks. to create all these different tulips, okay? So if you haven't seen that video, go back and watch it. I am going to demonstrate how to create this flower tonight, so you'll get to see that part again, all right? But the chart is over on my blog. Hi, Cheryl. Hey, Pam. All right, so I'm going to move these things out of the way. And if you have any questions about either thing, let me know. I can show you where to find it on my blog, okay? All right. Now, let me get set up here. And we will start with a bit of stamping, and then we're going to do some cutting, okay? All right, we're gonna need a sheet of Pear Pizzazz for the stem and these leaves, all right? And then we're going to need this piece for stamping the thank you. All righty, and I think I left my circle dies over on the counter, but I can run get those in a second. All right, so let's start with our Poppy Parade ink. I love this color, especially when working with the tulips. And then I love this stamp. I love that it's round. I love that our layering circles work so well with it. And I'm not using a pad, so let's hope that I get a nice impression. If I don't, we will re-stamp. All right. So there we are in Poppy. And now I'm gonna pull out the Pear Pizzazz. Move that out of the way, move that out of the way. Bring this in. Whoops, I better do that again. Lucky enough, I've got plenty of paper. Okay. I may be using my pad. I'm missing that middle. There we go. That's what I needed. And then I'm just going to cut this off. Turn this over. I have one more to stamp. Okay, so those are the two petals that we need. These will get cut out with the die. So we have quite a bit of paper cutting to do with our Stamp and Cut emboss machine. That is a mouthful. And let's pull out the die that we're going to use tonight to cut out this poppy. And it is actually this one right here. All right, so this is what we're going to create. Hi, Suzanne. This is the tulip we're going to create tonight. It's three-dimensional. We're going to need one of these, and one of these. All right, and so that's how we're going to build our flower. If you want to get a screenshot of that, you certainly can. I'm going to pull out the other pieces that I'm going to need to cut. Okay, and now I'm going to bring in my machine. And I'm probably going to zoom out. And maybe that's as far as I can zoom out. Like I said earlier, I moved my camera stand around a little bit, and so it's a little different tonight. The view is a bit different. All right, so these are some easy cuts for us. We've got platform 1, platform 2, a platform 3. We've got the poppies there. And I really don't need all this paper. I'm gonna need that bud. That's what I'm calling it. I don't know if that's the proper name or not. And that. So let's get those 3 items cut first. And my camera stand is probably gonna shake. All right. Trying to go gentle turning that so it doesn't shake it too much. There's the bloom that I needed, or the bud. This is the second piece of the flower to build it. So how many of y'all have this stamp set or this bundle? And how many of you have used it? Okay. Now, so I don't lose anything because I'm kind of famous for that sometimes. I'm going to put these items back, and I'm going to get this out and this out. And there was one more. Let's see. I think there's one more die. Oh, yes, there is. And you know what? It was stuck. It was stuck to the cutting plate, and now it's not. And now I'm going to use this stem. All right. So let me grab my circles, or I can do that in a minute. Okay. And hopefully you all can still see. All right, that is going there. And that one is going there. And then we can roll that through. All right. All right, so Gail says, I love the suite. So far, I've only used some of the DSP. Oh, I know, this DSP is drop dead gorgeous. Oh my gosh. All right, we got that. Looks like everything is cutting out okay. Now, I'm gonna go grab my scallop circle die. All right, let me see if this one works. It does. Actually, that's a little big. Let me see if I can go a little smaller. I don't think I can. Nope. This is the size I need right here. Okay. Try and center that where it needs to be. All right. And if you're new tonight, I just want to remind you to make sure that you comment so that your name can be in the drawing to win this card tonight. Anita, this is a bit scary, to be quite honest, because when I opened up the die set, it was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I know what to do. So I had to do a little research. All right, let me grab some Pear Pizzazz cardstock again. All right, now I wanted to grab this piece of Pear Pizzazz cardstock because I already have an adhesive sheet on the back. So that's what we're going to use to cut our stem, and then it's going to make it super easy for us to add that to the card. And I think this might be our last piece. I probably should have evened up my plates more. There we go. All right, and now we have our stem, and it has the adhesive on the back, which is going to be super helpful. All right. I'll bring the card back in, and I'm going to put those dies away so that I don't lose them. All right. Hi, Kathy. Nice to have you tonight. Welcome. All right. I'm just putting these dies away. Okay. So I think all that is accounted for. And now we can have fun putting our card together. Okay. Let me go ahead and zoom in now. All right, yeah, my camera is driving me crazy tonight. I do apologize. It's going to be leaning a little bit. Yes, Jean, I decided to do that. Jean says, great idea to put the adhesive on the entire piece of cardstock. I did that for class, and then all of the 10 ladies in the class, they could all use the same sheet and cut their stem, and it worked out really, really well. So, yeah, don't forget to use those adhesive sheets. They are amazing. All right, so here is our standard basic black cardstock. It's 5.5 by 8.5. And we're going to add this gorgeous piece of designer paper. How pretty is this? Now look at the original. The original has a different piece of designer paper. All right. Hello, Andrea. Welcome. Andrea, my daughter is watching tonight. How exciting. All right. So we're going to get a different look, okay? And then we can decide which one we like best. All right. Andrea, my daughter Andrea, she's the one who just got married in December. So her name is different now. All right. So we're just going to add this. Oh, and I should measure this for you, okay? So let me do that. All right. 3 3/4 inches across and 5 inches. All right. So 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And then we're going to add this lovely piece here. Now this is from the Scalloped Contours dies, okay? And they're located in the annual catalog. And I do tend to use these a lot, all right? So let's add some dimensionals. Okay. And these are just my scraps now that I'm trying to get rid of here. All right. Yay! Arlene, I have been using the adhesive sheets on my Waves dies as well, and it works perfectly. I love it. Hey, Deborah, welcome. Carol says, that's one thing that used to keep me from die cutting is not knowing what half the pieces were. Absolutely. It's a good thing that we have YouTube to look things up. Otherwise, we'd not know how to use them. They could at least show us a picture on the back of each piece and label that. Wouldn't that be great, Carol? I know, Carol. I'm with you, Carol. I so get what you're saying. I end up going on YouTube and I do a lot of research on how people are using these dies so that I know what to do. So it's not intuitive always. All right, so I pop that up. And now it's going to lay on top, all right? So now it's starting to take shape, and you can get an idea of how the cards are going to look, all right? I'm gonna grab a sip of water. I'm with you, Anita. That would be so awesome. Hi, Jenny from the UK, welcome. Well, ladies, I'm gonna start with the stem, okay? And so I'm just peeling off that adhesive. Thank goodness we have that. And I'm gonna want my flower to go this way. And I think about right there will be good. And then the bloom can go right here, or the flower can, okay? So I guess we're ready to build the flower. Are you ready for this? All right, let's get our pieces. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start with these two pieces right here, Petal Pink and Calypso Coral, all right? And I'm gonna take our Tombow, and by the way, I didn't replace it yet, so hopefully we have enough glue for tonight. Yes, we do. All right, so you see where I put that Tombow adhesive glue, all right? It's just on the back right there. Okay, and then I'm going to take that little bud or bloom, I don't know what to call it, and I'm going to stick that behind it. All right, and that is the first part of my flower. Okay, then I am going to take this piece right here And there is a little score line. And I don't know how well you can see that, but I'm actually gonna fold right on that score line. Yay, Terry! Terry's doing bingo. I'm so excited. Yay! All right. Yeah, tonight's the last night. Sign up for bingo. All right, so you see that score line? I just folded that. And now what I'm gonna do is I am going to put some adhesive inside, okay? You could also put the adhesive on the back of this if you want, all right? And then you see this little heart shape? All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay that in there, and it fits in there like a puzzle, okay? All right, and I can put the glue back now. We're done with that. Now, the next step that I like to do is I really want it to be three-dimensional. And so you see this bigger area? I'm gonna take my bone folder very gently. I am going to roll this paper and break up some of those fibers, okay? So I'm breaking up the fibers in the cardstock. All right, and then when I bring that over, I get that three-dimensional look, but I need to hold it. You see how it's open? I need to hold that, so let me get a mini dimensional. And I'm gonna put the mini just right inside, okay? And then I'm gonna peel that off, and then I'm gonna add it to the tulip, and that is my three-dimensional tulip. All right? And so honestly, it's not hard. It's just that you have to remember which tulip you're creating. All right, so I'm gonna show you that chart again so that you all can get a screenshot of it. All right, I'll do that in just a second. For now, I'm actually going to put a dimensional behind the tulip, and I'm gonna put it right there. All right, just like that. And now we're ready to add our stems. All right, so yeah, I guess I need I need my glue again. It is really cool. It is. There is a learning curve, okay? It's one of those things like when you open the package, it's like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do with this? But it is really cool once you figure it out, okay? It really is. All right, so I'm just picking up this petal, and I'm just gonna add it, and I'm gonna scoot that down a little bit. All right, I'm gonna add it right there. It's kind of covering up one of those holes, but that's okay. And then I'm gonna pick this piece up, and I'm gonna do the same. Okay, now you could put adhesive sheets on the back of these petals, but stems, or leaves, but you don't have to. You can use the Tombow glue for that, okay? Now y'all already know I'm gonna pop this up because I just love popping things up. So let's see where we're gonna put that. I will put one at the top, one at the bottom. All right, and then we're just gonna add it about right here, okay? Now let's add some bling, otherwise known as embezzlements. So Gail, this is your Hostess Club card, because you couldn't make it on Saturday, and so now you know what you're gonna be making. How cool is that? These are the iridescent rhinestones, okay? They look like this. They're in the mini. Iridescent rhinestones, basic jewels, okay? Carol wants to win this card. I hope you do, Carol. Where am I going to put this? Let's go up here. And they're 3 different sizes, and I chose all 3 different sizes to add to the card. All right. And we're going to add this beautiful organdy ribbon because it's shiny. Let's see if I can find my organdy ribbon. What did I do with that? Okay, I thought this ribbon had retired, but it has not. And it is in the online store, and it's item number 156408. And it's the glittered organdy ribbon. Okay, thank you, Melissa. Yes, oh, I love embellishments. Absolutely. That's what finishes off a card, right, Arlene? I so agree with you. All right. So now I am gonna add this little bow. Thank you, Aunt Ethel. I'm glad you like the card. It's fun when your family watches. So I had my daughter watching tonight and my aunt. All right. And this will take, I'm gonna shape this up some more, but I can go ahead and trim that. And let's see here. So once I get the bow tied, I just start fiddling with it. So I'm so glad you like it, Sharon. It would be a lovely Easter card, Nancy. You are so right. Thank you, Deborah. I'm glad you like it. All right, let's add a glue dot, okay, to the back of this knot. All right. Back of the knot. And this is going to finish it off, ladies. Look at this. That just finished off this card. And I'm going to cut the ribbon on a diagonal. Thank you, Kay. Oh, Carol wants to know, what does my hubby do? Well, you know what he does, Carol? He is downstairs in front of the TV, and he'll usually watch Star Trek because I don't really care to watch that, and he knows that. And so that's what he'll do. And then when I go downstairs tonight, he'll have to change the channel. So that's how our Wednesday night goes. Now you know. So there we are. Now tomorrow on Facebook, I'm going to ask you, do you like this or that? All right, because as you can see, there's different designer paper in the background. So is it this or that? I'm going to ask you that tomorrow over on Facebook. Okay. Now I'm going to bring that chart back out. Let me find it. I'm going to bring this chart back, ladies. Thank you, Dana. The tulips are gorgeous. Okay, so if you have the tulip dies, and I'm going to zoom in. If you have the tulip dies, or if you're considering ordering the tulip dies, okay, either way, you need a screenshot of this chart because this is going to show you how to build your tulips and create them three-dimensional, okay? Hi, Diane, thank you. All right. Oh no, Carol, he's not watching me. It's all Star Trek. Too funny. So get a screenshot of the tulip dies and I'll get us set up for our very next card, okay? All right. So if you've been on the fence about the tulips, this just might make your decision tonight, right? Okay. I'll give you just a few more minutes with the chart. All right. The dies are $35, and then the flowering tulips bundle is $52, and that's the stamp set and the dies, okay? And this right here is one of my favorite pieces. I love that. All right, and if you're going to be joining me for my flowering tulip sampler, then you get to use that border. It's really fun. All right. Oh, good, Diane. I'm so glad. Tell me about it, Diane. I had to go straight to YouTube. I was so confused when I saw the dies, and then I started watching different videos that other demonstrators were putting out, and it helped a great deal. And then I just kind of consolidated this chart to help us all. All right. Okay. So this is our next card, and I'm actually going to show you how to stamp these tulips. All right, let me get all my stuff out for it. Okay. All right, so we're gonna start, let's do our stamping first, okay? And we're gonna start with a basic white circle. This is one of the layering circle dies, okay, that we used earlier tonight. And the diameter of this circle is about, I want to say roughly it's about 2 5/8. Okay, so that's the size that I used for this card. Okay, now I need to show you the stamp set because this will actually help you when you're stamping, okay? So this stamp right here builds with this stamp. So if you ever wonder, oh, am I using the right stamps to build the flower? Just look at the case, all right? Look at this insert. So this flower goes with this flower, and then of course this goes in the center of the flower. Then these two flowers build on each other, and these two flowers build on each other. Okay, so when you open the case and you see the tulips and you're wondering what goes with what, because it can be confusing, just look over here. These two go together, these two go together, and these two go together, okay? Now, there's some wonderful sentiments in the stamp set. You've got happy birthday, love you, thinking of you, happy Mother's Day, thank you. This is like my favorite. I so love this stamp. And then let today be the start of something new. So lots of beautiful greetings in it as well. All right. So we're going to get started with Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape. I love, love, love these two together. Okay. All right. And now I've got to look at my stamps here. All right, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at this case. Yep, so this one right here is going to be my darker color. It's going to be my Gorgeous Grape, okay? This stamped image is going to be Highland Heather, all right? So just so that you can tell the difference between the two stamped images. So we're going to build this flower, all right? Gorgeous Grape, here we come. And I'll go ahead and open up the Highland Heather. Make sure that you all can see that. Now I've moved my stamps again. Let me make sure, yeah. Hey, and if I get it wrong, no big deal, right? I can always restamp. Okay, so this is my first flower, and so I'm gonna have this at the very top of my basic white circle. All right, so it's at the top. I'm gonna put this stamp back in the ink, and I know that stamp needs to go with this ink, okay? And now I'm gonna come over here. This is Highland Heather. Now this is gonna be a little difficult. You may end up seeing the back of my head, or maybe not, because I've got to line these two up. All right, so there it is. What do you think? That's our first one, okay? Now we're gonna do another one, and this one is actually gonna come off the paper a little bit, and that's okay. And then I'm gonna put one over here, just like that. All right. And then I'm going to take Highland Heather. I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to fill in with the shading. And I'm going to go over here and do the same thing. Now you've got to be right on top of this thing to get it aligned just right. Okay, I was a little off there. But it's hard when I'm trying to demonstrate to you and then like look straight over it. It's really tough to do. Okay, so for the centers, I'm going to use Daffodil Delight. You can also use the black Memento ink with it. And this is the little center right here. And it's even the shape of that right there. So it just fits in there nicely, just like that. Let's see, which way do I want to go with that? Now this is daffodil, like I said. You could also use crushed curry, and you could use bumblebee. And bumblebee's about to retire, by the way, ladies. It won't be long. It's here for just a little bit more. I'm going to close these ink pads so that my ink doesn't dry out. I'll move this. You know what I'll do? I'm going to lay that there so that you can see our tulips that we just stamped. Aren't they fun? All right, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our stem and Old Olive. So I'm going to go a little bit darker. I could use Pear Pizzazz if I wanted, but I'm going to go with the Old Olive. This is my stem, and I'm going to put that about right there. Okay. And now it's time. We're going to add some of the leaves. And I will put that about right there. And I think I'm going to put that about right there. All right. Isn't that pretty? I'm not going to, well, you know what? Let's add a stem here. That I didn't do. We're going to add one here. There we go. Now, you're going to notice something about the stem. The stem can go this way, or you can turn it around, and it can go this way. All right, so you have that option of turning the stem around. You know, you're right, Arlene. The center really does make it pop. It really does. I agree with that. All right, so now we're going to build the rest of our card. And I'm going to just move this out of the way. We're going to be using an Old Olive card base, okay? And then it's just a standard card base. It's 5.5 by 8.5. And then this is the Gorgeous Grape. This is 4 inches by 5.25 inches. Okay, so it's just a standard layer. You know, we all pretty much do the same measurements for that. So go ahead and add my seal. And then we're just going to center this, all right? Okay, now we're gonna add designer paper, and I wanna show you this piece of designer paper that we are going to use. This is from the Flowering Tulips designer paper pack, and we're gonna use this sheet right here. And if you flip it over, look at this. Now you could take your tulip dies and make some 3-dimensional tulips with this designer paper. We're gonna use this side, and depending on how you cut it, every single card will look different. So to cut this card, I'm actually going to cut it at 3 7/8. There's 4 inches right there. And so let me zoom in so you can see that one. That's a tricky one. Okay, so see the 4 inches? So that line is 3 7/8, and that's where we want to trim the paper, okay? All right. And then we're going to rotate our cardstock to 5 1/8 of an inch. And we're going to cut. And let's do it again, 5 1/8 of an inch. And then we'll have 2 card fronts to choose from, okay? So 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. All right, now I'm gonna zoom back out. And so we have this option right here. All right, so that's our first option. And I want you to look at the original card. Look how different it looks. It really depends on how you cut this sheet of designer paper. All right, let's look at another one. Check out this layer. So see how different the cards will look? It is just so interesting. This paper is just so cool. I'm gonna go with this one, all right? So let's give this one a try. And this green right here, you could cut out the stems using this green and also the leaves. This is going to get centered as well, right along here. I know, it's amazing. And then look at the designer paper that's left. This is what's left. And if we cut this, I mean, the card bases are gonna look different. It's kind of cool, really. Every card will be different. Okay, I wanna zoom in so that y'all can see, but I don't wanna zoom in too much. There we go. All right. So now we've got some decisions to make, okay? So I want you to help me make these. This is when I wish I knew how to do a Facebook poll, but I don't know how to do it. All right, so we've got the old olive, and let's bring in our flowers. That could be one of our choices, all right? So we're gonna choose a different colored circle. Whoops, sorry. Everything's flying around. My bow came off. All right, now this is Poppy Parade. So old olive or poppy? I think poppy makes it pop. And then we can also try pumpkin pie. Ooh, I kind of like that too. And then we have Highland Heather, which I don't think makes it pop at all. So I'm thinking that Old Olive and Highland Heather are out. Okay, I don't think they really pop. So now we are between Pumpkin Pie, which is one of the coordinating colors in this paper pack. Margaret likes Poppy. Margaret, I might be with you. Dana likes the green. Here's Poppy. All right, so I'm kind of between both of these. Ooh, Diane likes pumpkin, so does Anita. All right, anybody else? Any other thoughts? We've got 1 poppy, 1 green, 2 pumpkin pies. Anybody else want to decide what to do this card in? Okay, all right, Tina's liking the pumpkin pie. And Ruth likes the pumpkin pie. I'm starting to lose count. Pumpkin pie. Okay, I'm seeing more pumpkin pies. So that's what we're going to go with, okay? And I don't normally do this, but for this scallop circle, I'm going to pop it up. Melissa likes Poppy. I have to tell you, girls, I was between Poppy and pumpkin pie. And it's really hard to decide because I like them both. And I think it depends on your designer paper layer. You know, it might be different for every single one of these cards because the paper is different. All right, so yeah, I'm adding some more dimensionals. Yep, that's what I'm doing. All right. Sandy likes pumpkin. Arlene likes poppy. Jeanne likes the poppy. All right, here we go. We're going to add that. So we're starting to build that card. Now, this card looks amazing with Stella. And I don't think we have Miss Peggy watching tonight. She loves Stella. So I'm going to take some Wink of Stella here. This is in our annual book, okay? So this is in our annual catalog. And hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Are you seeing any of that shimmer? Sometimes I think it is really hard to see it on camera. All right, I'm going to try and squeeze this tube a little more. See if yeah, it's starting to come out now. I can tell because it's smearing the ink a little bit, which is fine. There we go. Now it's really coming out. So I'm going to go back over these. Oh, yes. Now it's working. Okay, now I'm getting some of that shimmer. I'm even going to add it to the stem, and I'm going to add it to the leaves. Okay. So that's our little Wink of Stella. If you're taking my class this weekend, the sampler and card class, bring your Wink of Stella. All right. All right. Yeah, I'm really adding it on there. Now let me hold it up. Yeah, Stella is camera shy. Absolutely, Carol. But now you can kind of see that shimmer. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to teach you one more trick, okay? So let me zoom out so you can see the original card. Do you see the words "just thinking of you"? Hang on 1 minute. The stamp actually says "just thinking of you today," but there's not enough room for today, all right? So we're going to take, and this is in the annual book, these tags, tailored. I always forget the name of these tailored tags. They're in the annual book. If somebody wants to look that up for me, you get a bunch of these different tags, different sizes. They're really, really cool. All right, so I'm going to show you what we're going to do, okay? I'm going to take this Post-it note on the sticky side, and I'm gonna, do you see the stitching that goes right across? I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Okay, so see that stitching that's going across? I'm gonna put my Post-it note right on those dots so that I can't see them, okay? Then I'm going to take Gorgeous Grape ink, and I'm going to ink my greeting in Gorgeous Grape, all right? And then I am going to stamp on this tag. Okay, and so do you see the word today? I'm going to peel that off, and now it says just thinking of you. All right. Well, hello, Jacqueline. Now my other daughter is watching. I have both of my twin daughters are watching tonight, Andrea and Jacqueline. How wonderful. What a nice surprise. All right. So that's how you make that little tag. Now let's get out our evening evergreen, okay? We're going to use the evening evergreen window pane check. It's got a really long name, and I'm going to zoom out and tie this bow, okay? Thanks, Nancy. Thank you, thank you. All right. So I'm just making that little bow. Again, evening evergreen. It is part of the Tulips suite. I'm going to go ahead and cut that on the diagonal. I know, what a nice surprise. I've got some of the family watching. I'm going to cut that on the diagonal as well. Now I'm going to add a glue dot right where that hole is, okay? All right. And then I am going to put that tag about right there. And you see how that tag just kind of sticks up like that? You guessed it. You guessed it. I am going to put a dimensional under there. You're kidding, Carol. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Zena. It's tailor-made tags. Thank you. Couldn't remember. Carol says my mother's name was Jacqueline. I had no idea, Carol. Nobody ever knew how to say it or spell it, and they always called her Jackie, and she hated it. Oh my gosh, that's us. No one can call my Jacqueline Jackie except her Aunt Ethel. That's the only person she will allow that from. So we call her Jack or we call her Jacqueline, but we've never called her Jackie, except Aunt Ethel. Aunt Ethel has permission to do that. She calls her Jackie-O. All right, so here's our bow. I'm gonna add the glue dot to the back of that knot, okay? And then I'm going to put it right there. I'm gonna just smush it in there. I'm gonna adjust my bow. All right, and then I'm gonna trim the tail again, all right? Okay, and I'll zoom in a little bit. All right. Oh, we've got to add the bee. Okay, no one reminded me about the bee. So these are the bumblebee trinkets, and of course, I have 8,000. And we're going to add a glue dot to the back of that bee. All right. And then we're going to put our little bee. He's buzzing down just like that.